It all started when Aman was 16. He always thought his parents were a bit too old-fashioned. They'd tell him to go clean his room instead of playing video games, to go spend time outside instead of being on his phone all day. And they had rules. No staying out past curfew, no going to parties without telling them first, no bringing friends home when they weren't there to greet them properly. But Aman hated all that. And then one day his parents said they wanted to have a family dinner, something they used to do every Sunday, but stopped because of how busy everyone got. The idea of spending time with his parents and sisters sounded boring to him, so he went to his room and locked the door. When his parents knocked and asked if he was coming, he just yelled, "No," then put his headphones on and listened to music. His dad knocked again. "Aman, we're your parents. We only want to spend some time with you. Please don't be like this." But he didn't listen. He didn't want to be like them, old-fashioned, boring, and lame. So he stayed in his room listening to music until his parents left. When his mom came back into his room, she wasn't angry, but disappointed. She knew he wouldn't come around if she yelled at him. She sat down next to him and tried talking. "You know, you might not think we're cool, but there's nothing wrong with being old-fashioned. It means having values, knowing what's important. You can be cool and still be respectful to your parents. You can play video games and still help out around the house. There's nothing wrong with being like us." But Aman shook his head. "You're lame. I don't want to be like you." His mom looked at him for a moment, then got up and left. After a while, Aman's anger faded away and he felt a bit bad about what he'd said. He hadn't meant it. Well, he decided to go see what his parents were doing. He found them sitting in the living room, talking quietly. As he stood there listening, he heard his dad say, "I think he's just going through a phase. He'll come around." But his mom disagreed. "No, I think he's found a new family, one that accepts him for who he is, even if that means without morals and respect." His dad looked at her in surprise. "Don't be silly. He loves us." But she shook her head. "He may say he does, but actions speak louder than words. Remember, he chose to stay in his room instead of spending time with us. He chose to ignore us. He chose to call us old-fashioned. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is." Aman heard enough. He knew his mom was right. He'd chosen to call his parents old-fashioned. He'd chosen to hurt them. He wanted to apologize, but before he could, they left. When Aman heard their car door close, he ran to the window and saw them drive away. It was then that he realized he didn't want them to go. But it was too late. He watched their car disappear into the distance, then quickly ran downstairs and out the front door. He wanted to stop them, to tell them he was sorry, but they were gone. That Sunday turned into a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, and by Thursday, Aman was starting to panic. His parents weren't answering their phones. They usually called him at least once a week, but now their phones went straight to voicemail. He was worried they might have had an accident, but whenever he tried calling them, the call went straight to voicemail. He tried calling again and again, but no answer. Then after school that day, he ran to their room and found a note. "We've had enough, Aman. Until you learn to be respectful towards us, we won't be coming back. This isn't a punishment, but a lesson. Hopefully one day you'll understand. Love, Mom and Dad." With that, Aman fell to his knees and started crying. He'd never seen this side of his parents. Where were the kind, loving people he knew? All he'd done was call them names. How could they do this to him? As days went by, Aman regretted everything he'd said and done. He missed his mom's delicious cooking, his dad's bedtime stories, and even his little sister's annoying singing. He missed their family dinners. He missed everything. He searched everywhere for them, but they were nowhere to be found. He called their friends and relatives, but no one knew where they could be. Had they run away? Had someone kidnapped them? Was he responsible? These thoughts kept him up at night, and eventually he started seeing a therapist. "Why haven't my parents come back? Is something wrong? Did I do something wrong?" he asked the therapist. The therapist told him to read the note again. "We've had enough, Aman. Until you learn to be respectful towards us, we won't be coming back. This isn't a punishment, but a lesson. Hopefully one day you'll understand. Love, Mom and Dad." He read, "So they're not mad at me. They're just disappointed. They want me to learn a lesson. But what is that lesson?" He asked himself this question every single day. It took him 2 years to find the answer. He started small. At first he cleaned his room, did the dishes, mowed the lawn. He started saying please and thank you. He helped his friends with their problems and listened when they needed someone to talk to. He learned what it meant to be responsible, not just for himself, but for others. He started thinking about his parents and what they must be feeling. If they were watching him from somewhere, would they be proud or disappointed? That thought alone motivated him to be a better person. 2 years passed, and Aman was completely different. He was still a gamer, but now he balanced it with other things in his life. He was still on his phone a lot, but now he also spent time outside. He was still hanging out with his friends, but now he helped them with their problems. And most importantly, he learned the meaning of respect, not just for his parents, but for everyone. One day, he was cleaning the house when he heard a familiar sound. It was the sound of his parents' car. He ran to the window and couldn't believe his eyes. It was really them. He was so happy he ran to the door and opened it just as they were walking in. "Mom, Dad, you're back," he said, hugging them tightly. "Eamon, our son, we're so glad to see you again," his mom said, hugging him back. "You're all grown up," his dad added, ruffling his hair. Then his dad handed him the keys to the car. "We need to go somewhere, but we'd like you to come with us." Confused, Eamon followed them to the car and got in. The whole ride, he wondered where they were going. Were they going somewhere nice? A park? A restaurant? But when they stopped, he realized they were at a cemetery. "Why are we here?" he asked. His mom sighed and put her hand on his V. "We're here to introduce you to your grandparents. You've heard about them, right?" "Yeah, but I've never met them." "They died before I was born, didn't they?" "Yes, they did. Your grandfather died when your mother was very young, and your grandmother died a few years ago. We promised them we'd bring you to see them one day, and we finally can." Eamon nodded, understanding dawning on him. "So this is why you left. You wanted to teach me a lesson, to teach me about respect," he said, looking at his parents with newfound respect. "Yes, but you already know the answer. We did it because we loved you and wanted you to be a good person. Is that clear?" "Yes, Mom. Yes, Dad." After they left the cemetery, they went to a small restaurant. As they ate, his dad spoke. "We're very proud of the man you've become, son. We know it wasn't easy, but you faced your fears, made amends, and became a better person. We couldn't ask for anything more." "Me too," his mom added. "I'm just glad you're back." They all hugged each other, tears of joy streaming down their faces. Finally, they were whole again.